This is episode 13 of the Money Musician Podcast. It's been 13 episodes already. It's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It took you 13 episodes to get me on here, bro.
Yeah. We finally got him on here. So this is my buddy here. He's done a lot of cool stuff in music, amazing original songs, has opened up for Jason Mraz, plays all around Vegas, does the cover and original thing. This is Michael Richter.
What's up, guys?
I should have that like fake applause.
You should add that.
I should definitely put that in. That's cool. Cool. So give us a quick timeline on how you started playing music or how you even got into it.
So when I was a kid, I refused to listen to music because my parents were so into it. Like my dad had a Grateful Dead cover band.
Nice.
And then my mom played guitar, and they were both like, "You need to play." And my like teenage rebellion was like, "No, that's like not gonna happen."
Oh,
so I was like a closeted music fan for a long time.
Just trying to rebel against your parents.
Just trying to rebel, but yeah, like they don't know anything. And then I started playing trumpet in middle school, and that was really cool. Like I took to that super quick.
Yeah,
I was like first chair, beginning band. Like me and this one kid were always battling it out.
Yeah.
And then I did jazz band, and I thought that was cool. And then it was the summer of my 7th grade. My mom started teaching me guitar.
Oh.
She was actually teaching my stepdad, and then I also was like, all right, let's learn this thing. And I just picked it up super fast, like
interesting,
super quick. And I remember like I had been playing for like 6 months or something like that, and the kids that were in like a beginning guitar class like had been in the class all year, and I like was like walking past them they were about to perform, and I was like, all right, let me play a song. And I just played Blackbird by the Beatles, and the whole class was like, yo. And I was like, I've only been playing like 6 months or something like that. And the kids were just like, had been practicing,
that dude's
playing all year. Yeah.
That dude's sick.
That dude's sick, yeah. And I just remember being like, just feeling like so welcomed by the guitar, because that was like, it was easy, and I just got it.
Yeah. So kind of just natural tendency to play it.
Yeah.
That was kind of the same thing for me too. Is like in grade school you get exposed to like the band. Like I was playing the trombone. Mm-hmm. Same thing happened where it's like you liked the music part of it, and you're like, oh, this is like cool. This is like something new that I've like never felt before. But that might have not been your instrument.
Oh, dude. Well, like those wind instruments are so like physical. Like you can't just like watch TV and play the trombone. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like you're like constantly blowing, and like there's like you can't just chill.
Yeah, the whole household knows you're playing the horn.
Yeah. It's not chill at all.
So then. Through like junior high and high school and stuff.
Yeah,
how was that?
It was cool. Like just like I started playing stuff by ear immediately too. Like the first song I did by ear was Chili Peppers. I don't ever wanna feel.
Oh, nice.
I forget what it's called.
I don't remember. You just started learning songs.
Yeah, like by ear, like just because my parents was like figured out. They were like, oh, he could do this, so they would send me songs like, see if you can learn this one, and then I would just like figure it out.
That's cool.
But then I ended up playing guitar in jazz band, but I couldn't read music. Like, so I like got into jazz band, and I couldn't read music. I could kind of follow the charts. And so it's funny is like later on, I talked to my band teacher at a gig, and he was like, or my dad was like, yeah, Michael could never read music. He was like, yeah, you don't need to read it if you can play it. And so like I would just make up my parts in jazz band.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, I would have loved to read your music, kids. Learn how to do it. I wish I could.
So you were learning like just other people's songs and stuff. Is that when you started writing music as well?
As soon as I started playing guitar, I was making stuff up like immediately. Just
really?
Super drawn to doing that. I performed an original my freshman year in the talent show.
Oh, that's
just
cool.
Just instrumental, like original, like a loop thing.
Yeah.
And then I wove in like Seven Nation Army into it.
Sweet.
A little bit, just to get people like to recognize, something.
That probably went crazy.
Oh, it was great. It was great.
That was like.
Yeah, it was super cool.
So that was technically like your first show?
Technically, yeah. I mean,
were you nervous for that?
Yeah, I was super nervous. Well, my looper like didn't work, and so like I was hitting the button and then it wasn't playing.
Oh no!
And I was like, I did it 3 times and I was like freaking out, and so I just leaned over and then the volume was all the way down. So I pushed the volume all the way up, and then the whole crowd's like, yes! It was like I won everybody over by like making mistakes. So it made it more like charming anyway.
It's like a DJ, you're just like turn the volume up. Like...
Yeah, and then I was like, everyone saw the relief on my face of like,
dang. And that was in front of all your peers too.
Oh yeah,
so that's like super nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it was my freshman year of high school, and at that point my dad was like, hey man, like everybody can play the guitar, you gotta sing, you gotta start singing.
That's exactly something your dad would say.
Oh yeah.
That's exactly.
Like, hey man, guitar players are a dime a dozen. Start singing. And I was like, all right. And I always knew I could sing. Yeah. Like I'd grown up singing in private. Like I remember like walking home from middle school, like singing like the Lazy Song by Bruno Mars.
Yeah.
Or like I want to be a billionaire. I would sing that on the way home.
Yeah.
So, but I always knew I could sing. Yeah. So I was like, cool. Like I'll do that. And then I was singing in private. Sang for my little brother first. I think it was It's Time by Imagine Dragons I sang first.
Yeah, that's a good song. That's a great song.
Yeah, and they're a big reason I got into music as well.
Imagine Dragons?
Yeah.
And that's kind of that's how you started like developing singing and just kind of songwriting, really. Just seeing how they put everything together, right?
And then so sang my first song, and then that's like right around the time my mom passed away in like high school, and she had heard me sing like one time. So then I ended up singing at her funeral, and like that was like the hardest thing I've ever done. Yeah, I bet. It's like packed 300 people, standing room all the way to the back, and it's like super sad. I sang this song called 30 Lives by Imagine Dragons. Super sad song. But that's one of the things, like the moments in my life where it's like, I did that, so like I can play at this casino. You know what I mean? Right. It doesn't really matter. Yeah. Like I did that, like, I can play anywhere. Like that's the hardest thing you could possibly do. Right. In my eyes.
Absolutely.
So it's like, let's just let's do it.
Yeah. That's a cool way to look at it. Yeah.
So we're there. That's high school, sophomore year. And then kind of didn't really take music super seriously after she passed away because we had a big relationship. So like playing music together. So it was kind of like a...
And she sang and played guitar.
She sang and played guitar, yeah. Gotcha. So that was kind of like a big thing in our relationship. So I played it to like console myself. It's like, it's just like, it's always there for you, you know? Right. So it's like that thing where you're sad, whatever, play guitar, it makes you like calm down. For me, just kind of levels me out always. So like I used it that way, but I wasn't like, let's gig, let's do the thing. Like I didn't think that was possible either. Like to just, have a career in music. Like it was always just like this far out dream. So I ended up going to college, did my freshman year, and I had wrote my first song at that point in time, like all the way through. Like I had written some stuff, like lyrically, and
what was the song?
It's called The Road. It's like a 12-string thing. I'm sure you've heard it before. Yeah. But yeah, I entered into a talent show. Like I auditioned for the talent show, and the people were just like, "Yo, like you're in." Like immediately, they were digging it. Yeah. So then I ended up winning that talent show. Whoa. And I won like $200 in like airline flights. And that's like where I was like, I need to do this. Like, I don't know why I'm in college.
It was the airline flights.
Well, it was like, hey. I was like, I won. Yeah. I was like, I won a thing. And so my sophomore year of college, I was sitting in all my classes just like thinking about songwriting. Like could not focus. Right. Like I was going to be a teacher, and I was like, I'm going to be broke. I'm going to be a musician.
So you were going to school for being a teacher?
Yeah, to be a teacher.
Interesting. To be a music teacher? Or
No,
just
like a teacher. Because I really,
gotcha.
I like used to volunteer at an elementary school and high school, so I was like super into just like teaching kids to read and just like super at home with that stuff. But I was like, I need to write songs.
Yeah.
So I ended up dropping out my sophomore year of high school to write songs, and that's when I wrote 2014, which is the song about my mom and my uncle passing away. And so and then I ended up getting my first gig opening for this R&B girl. I think her name was like Taylor Reed or something like that. She's like a looping R&B girl.
Original show.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, so I only had a couple originals, but I didn't. It was like I have like 2 songs I've ever.
You're like,
written.
this is all I got.
Yeah,
but I'm doing it.
Yeah. So I opened for her like at the student union at UNR. So I was like, I dropped out that year, and then I got my first gig, like.
Yeah.
At that, at the school. So it was like kind of
it's
like
a sign.
Taking it back a little bit.
Yeah.
And my dad was like, my family was really supportive of it, which was really cool.
Your dad's always super supportive and
he was just like, you need to work at this every day. Like if you're gonna do this, like you got to do it.
Yep.
So, fast forward of like a year. I got stuck in a lease up there, so I was like trying to write music.
Up where?
In Reno.
Oh, in Reno. Okay.
I went to UNR.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, I didn't know what that was.
Yeah. So I was stuck in a lease up there, kind of just playing video games, writing music. I got fired from a movie theater job, dude. And then so I came back here, and that's when I found the Tap in Boulder City.
Boulder City. And for everyone who's listening, we're in Vegas right now. So Boulder City is like right outside of Vegas.
Right where the Hoover Dam is.
Yeah.
You've heard of that.
Yes.
But so there's this little bar called the Tap. And that's actually where I met Miles.
Yeah. It's a crazy
hair.
story.
He had long hair, dude. But yeah, it's, just getting started there. And I took a lot of inspiration from like comedy at that point in time, like just listening to them like talk about hitting this open mic and that open mic like 4 times a week, just getting that like stage time. And so that's kind of where I got that drive to I went there every week for like 4 years just to, get my skills up to par and like get in front of audiences and like.
Yeah, hone all your songs, trial.
And there's a lot of songwriters there, like as you know. So it was like a good place to be like, I'm trying to write a good song so I can impress these guys, and like they're writing good songs, and it's like this like competitive kind of thing.
It's a good community to be in.
Mm-hmm.
I always talk about it too. Like a lot of people ask me, well, like, how do I get gigs or how do I even start out? And it's like the open mics are like a gem.
Oh yeah,
it's like
you just gotta get your hands
gem.
dirty. You just gotta get in there, like just meet as many people as you can. That's the big thing. It's just literally embracing what it is you want to do.
Yeah, and all those people are basically trying to do the same thing as you are. So it's good to be in that environment and go there, hone your craft, get used to singing through a mic, through the speakers, in front of an audience.
Yeah,
sometimes in front of no one.
Yeah.
You got to get used to all of that.
Yeah, when we started the Tap, I had my grandma, the host of the open mic, and the owner of the bar.
Yeah.
that was it.
Yeah.
I remember playing like 30 minutes one night, just like, okay.
Yeah.
And then right before COVID, we got that place where it was like standing room only, like built this thing from the ground up. And I think everybody that went to that open mic like had a lot of ownership and like pride in what we had like built. So it was like really cool.
Yeah, because there's not a lot of places that you can go try your original songs in a place where everyone is like
intently listening.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Exactly.
Like no one's like there wasn't really people talking. It was like, let's listen. Like it was a great crowd.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what
I really miss it now because there's no place now at all like that has that kind of crowd.
And I feel like every city, if you really do your searching, every city does have an open mic somewhere, or they have some type of place that you can just go and get some stage time for free.
Yeah.
Usually it's 2 songs.
2 songs, yeah. Yeah, 2 or 3.
But yeah, that's so you went consistently, and that's what I thought was so cool about you, was that you would be there every time.
Yeah.
Like every week you would go. So you did that for 4 years.
Yeah.
And really just
and then I started getting gigs out of that too, because
were you doing like original stuff that whole time, or are you doing covers?
I would do
too?
some covers.
Okay.
But it was mainly like, let's write songs. Like I was always, and then like,
yeah.
Sometimes I would sit and listen to people, and sometimes I would go in the parking lot and like write like in the parking lot while people were performing, because it's like,
yeah, just inspiring.
It was just super cool. It's good to support other people, but sometimes you gotta look up for number one, dude. That's good advice.
so that led to a bunch of
just like
original shows.
Yeah, small town gigs where like, I met that bar owner and he owned 2 other bars, and it's like, come play. We don't care what you play. Like, we love your music. We want to support you.
Yeah.
And like developing these really cool relationships where it's like, I'm not making much, $150, for 2 hours, but it's like, you're a paid musician now. It's like, it's like a great next step. And so I'd get a couple of gigs here and there, like, and then, and then I did that. I did that for 4, years. COVID happened, kind of went back. And then they finally sold that place. And my dad had heard at this point a radio ad for the Shag Room.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So hosted by Sean Eiferman. And my family has known of Sean Eiferman since, like, dude's been playing in town since they were in their 20s at bars partying. So it's like, so it's like, my dad was like, you need to go meet this guy and go do that. And so that was the next kind of step of like getting into Vegas. So
the Shag Room is, it's basically just like a lounge inside Virgin Hotel. Used to be a Hard Rock Hotel. Now it's Virgin.
Which, funny enough, I missed this part of my story. I met this guy named Arrow at the Tap, and he had started to bring me up to his gigs in Vegas. And I was like, finally starting to play Vegas stuff.
Oh,
and that
cool.
was really cool. Like, he'd have me do a couple songs, like, because he said I was really good.
Yeah, I forgot about him, because he would do a lot of the same gigs that we were doing. So Arrow was full-time musician, and he would just bring you in to do gigs.
Bring me into the gigs, do a couple songs.
That's really cool.
He believed in me.
Yeah.
So like I played Virgil's when the stage was inside.
Yeah.
With him once, and then he had me come close the Hard Rock down with him.
That's cool.
He was like, "Hard Rock's closing. Do you want to play us like a set?" I was like, "Yes." So like I got to play the last night of the Hard Rock. And they like pumped you through the casino. So I did Creep.
Oh, nice.
And like Lucas was in the bathroom and he just heard me singing like on the speaker in the bathroom. He's like, "Oh, I gotta go." My friend Lucas. But yeah.
That's super
So like that was like my first thing. And then COVID happened right after that.
Yeah.
Which was like
everything shut
down. So then I was like, how do I get back into Vegas?
Right.
Because all my progress kind of had halted. And that's where the Shag Room thing came in. So, yeah.
And that was, so you mean you were doing the open mic at Shag Room?
Yeah. So I went there.
That's when you started
doing
it?
They had one open mic. It was like the first one they started. I came to the second one. And what they do at the Shag Room, it's like a competition. So like the first person, or like somebody would win the night, like on a Wednesday, someone would win. And then for 13 weeks, someone would win, and then there'd be a grand finale, and then that person would win a paid residency at Virgin Hotel. So
nice, yeah. So like there'd be like 15 people that sign up every night. Or it was 20 some, yeah. Yeah, a lot of people would sign up, and it'd kind of be a competition, which is super cool because, it's still just an open mic. Yeah. But then you also kind of get that extra push to get the residency. It's a paid residency. So you win the open mic competition over like, what is it, a month or 2? Yeah. And then you get to play there at that venue
for like 15 weeks.
Yeah, for 15 weeks. Like, paid, yeah. Which is super cool. And honestly, a lot of even some of the open mics in Riverside, where I'm from, they would have like, it's almost like the open mic is a tryout.
Yeah.
And a lot of places do this where they'll have showcases or shows on the weekends, or they'll just see kind of who's good at the open mics, and then they'll book you for other stuff. It happens all the time. So
totally.
That's cool that Shag did that.
Yeah.
The Shag Room.
No, it was really, really cool. And so I was did their second one. I won that night, and I was like super stoked. And then fast forward, 13 weeks or whatever, got to play in front of Heather Collins, the local radio DJ for Mix 94.1.
Yeah.
The president of the hotel, and I don't even remember who the third judge was.
Okay, yeah.
But they gave me 3 10s, won the night, got the residency, and so that was like huge. Like,
so your first time doing the competition, you won.
Yeah, I won it. Yeah, and it was the first ever one. It was like,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I was like super stoked, just because I wasn't expecting to win.
Yeah, and that's the other cool thing too, that I try to repeat a lot, is that you never know who's in the audience watching you. You don't know if it's someone who has a label, someone who could book you for another gig.
Dude, for example, we met TJ Lavin at the Tap, like the host of the MTV's The Challenge, just sitting in the corner in flip-flops. Like, I just remember waking up one day and my stepmom called me and she's like, "My friend in Ohio saw you perform last night." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And she's like, "TJ Lavin was there." And I'm like, "Who's that?" Like, turns out bro won the X Games a few times.
Like, for anyone who doesn't know who TJ Lavin is, he's Pro BMX host on TV and stuff like that. And we met him at the Tap. There's a bunch of celebrities, and we're in a really good spot in Vegas where a lot of celebrities will come through, which is super cool. But even in other cities, and you never know who's in the crowd. You never know who's visiting. You never know if that person might be one contact away from completely changing your life.
No, and especially like you, especially sometimes you're performing to 4 people, but you don't know who they are. So it's like, give it what you got, man. Like, always give it your all. Because like, I think the night I met TJ, there was like 6 people in the room. It's like, you don't know who's popping in.
Yeah, that's so true. And then so how did that lead up to what was first? Did you get on the radio, your original songs, or was it the Jason Mraz thing?
So after meeting Heather, I played my song Fairy Tale that night, and she loved it. Yeah. And so I didn't have any recorded music. I had nothing out.
Wow.
So she was like, "You need to record some music." And I was like, "What do I do?" And I'd been trying to like meet producers and stuff, and like nothing was really panning out. It was like dudes in their bedroom and like just kind of like not what I envisioned, my sound to be.
Right.
And like nothing against dudes in their bedroom, like they can do some good stuff.
Right.
But I just couldn't figure that out. So what I decided to do was a live studio album in front of my closest friends, family, fans. So I had 50 people come to like the 11th Street studio.
It's downtown Las Vegas. Yeah.
And just recorded all my original songs live, and which is kind of backwards, doing an acoustic live record first, and then like deciding to have to go, produce all of them later on. It's kind of backwards to the industry, but it was like kind of
pretty cool. Yeah,
it was like
live records are really cool.
It's like me doing just getting something out there is like super important.
Yeah,
and like it was a big step for me of like just sometimes as a musician you have to just go, this is what I sound like right now, and people like it, so let's just put it out. Like you don't need to be perfect. It just is what it is. Like, and I think a lot of people need to swallow that pill.
Yeah, they need to hear that.
And their demos are collecting dust or whatever. It's like, just do it. Just put it out there. And that like brought me a lot of opportunities just by having music out there.
Right. Yeah, it's better to have something out there and released than it just never get released ever.
You have no footprint. Like there's no like. That's what I noticed. Like just like getting more content, more everything out there is just always the most important thing. Yeah. So getting that out there. Then she premiered it on the radio. She premiered Fairy Tale live on the radio.
Cool. So Heather was one of the judges for the Shag Room, the open mic that you won. And then she works for the radio station here in Vegas. So she heard your original song and put it on there.
Put it on the radio, like when it came out. So like super cool.
That is cool. Yeah. To hear your song on the radio
is insane. There's like a weird compression, you know, that you've heard your song, but like just the way it sounds on the radio is like different than streaming it or whatever. It's like really cool.
But when she like announced it, she's like, all right, now we got a local artist, Michael Richter, on here. And then you're just like story. In your car and you just turn it up. It's like, that's a really
And then you're getting friends that just happen to be listening that like tag you or whatever. It was super cool.
Yeah.
And then so like you did my residency and then things kind of just like fell again. It was like I didn't really have anything after that. So it was like kept going to the open mic, of course, like kept my work ethic up, kept writing songs.
Right.
And through some of that time, I had worked with this producer out in LA to do some songs, and I wasn't like quite sure about the sound, but once again, took my own advice and was like, let's just put it out there. So then we put out my single, Can't Lose, which I think is super awesome.
And that was kind of like your first single.
First like produced single. And it did super well. Like it was a learning experience. Like doing a rollout of a single is like so much stuff you just don't think about. The first time you're like, I blew it. You're like, I should have done this and that and like all this stuff.
Oh, you mean like
just like promotion wise and like all sorts of stuff. Like
just launching it.
It's like you have to live, eat, breathe your single.
Yeah.
Like,
but I mean, there's a lot of cool parallels with like, I mean, whether you're doing the original thing or the cover thing, it's a lot of what you're saying is really good. Like you just keep putting stuff out there. You keep moving. You keep saying yes. You keep meeting people.
Yeah, that was some of the best advice I've gotten through like me being an Imagine Dragons fan. I like was on a bus with the bass player and the drummer, and there's a lot of music kids on the bus like for this event, and so we were doing a Q&A, and I just because Imagine Dragons blew up in Vegas, so I was like, hey, as a Vegas-based musician, like what's your best advice for me to try to get to where you guys are at? And the bassist was just like, say yes to everything.
Oh, he told you that?
Yeah, say yes to everything. And then I was like, okay, that makes sense. And then after my residency, Virgin had me be like a busker in the hotel. They were like, no amp, no nothing, just like walk around the hotel and sing. I lost my voice. I was like trying to sing louder than like slot machines, like lost my voice. And that's when I started to go, maybe don't say yes to everything. It was like, lost my voice for like 2 months from yelling in a casino.
Yeah.
Paid good, but I was like, dude. The first time I did it, like security, like didn't get the memo. And so this guy was like, we're going to have a conversation. And I was like, go talk to that lady. She's my boss. Like, I'm getting
He just
paid.
thought you were a random guy.
He thought I was random in the casino just with a guitar.
That's good.
Oh, it was the worst. That's the worst gig. One of the worst gigs, actually.
Wow, that's super funny, though. Okay, so we were talking about how Heather put Can't Lose on the radio.
On the radio.
And then how did that tie into opening up for Jason Mraz?
So I think the big one was Life is Beautiful the year before Jason Mraz.
Okay.
I got a call from Heather that was like, hey, do you want to open up for KG Elephant? I was like, yeah.
So Heather kind of deals with like a lot of the, or she was booking all the entertainment, right?
There was like a Life is Beautiful like pre-show. Like
and Life
for
is
the
Beautiful,
radio station.
Life is Beautiful is like a huge festival. It's like Lollapalooza, but in Vegas.
Yeah.
And
100,000 people.
There was like...
So they get all the bands, and then they usually do the iHeartRadio festivals also in town at that time. So there's a lot of artists in Vegas.
Right.
So that's how like the radio station will like wrangle up all these artists and be like, come do a show for like our listeners, little acoustic 2 songs or whatever.
Yeah, and like a lot of the bands before they even play the festival will do like a breakdown acoustic set at like, what would you call it? It's just like a private party thing.
Yeah, it's
before
like
the festival.
30, 40 people, like that won tickets from the radio station, and they'll do interview and 3, 4 songs. Yeah.
And so Heather
called us up because they wanted to throw a local act, original act, and I was like, yes. So I got you.
Yeah, that was like our first show.
Yeah, yeah. We played at the top of the Circa, like floor 50.
Yeah.
But we opened up for Grandson.
Yeah, they were really good.
Super good. And then Cage Elephant was supposed to play, but then they ended up doing like an interview instead or something like that.
Yeah.
But all the radio executives were there.
Mm-hmm.
So like we blew minds that day. We did great. I did so good. And I just remember people just being really stoked.
Especially in shows like that too. It's like you definitely don't know who's in the crowd. Like, yeah, it could have been other people that could put you on the radio. It could be labels. It could be band managers. Like,
so yeah, I was pretty nervous for that one.
Yeah,
I was pretty nervous. Like,
yeah, definitely say yes to those.
Oh yeah,
those are great.
drop everything to do stuff for the radio station.
Yes.
So yeah, I was pretty nervous for that, and just kind of rehearsed that whole week, just making sure we didn't mess up.
How do you rehearse typically? Like when you have like a new set that you're doing or a few new songs that you learned, how do you go about really like solidifying those?
I just eat, breathe, just if I'm not practicing it, I'll listen to it. And if I'm not listening to it, practicing it. And if I'm not doing either of those, if I'm just driving, I'll be trying to memorize lyrics like in the car, or just like always trying to recall it like as often as I can.
Yeah.
As far as like memorization goes. But yeah, just like tirelessly,
Just rehearse, like just keep going all the way through each song.
And also like being conscious of like, how's my voice doing? Does this hurt? Am I going to be okay to sing tomorrow if I keep practicing? Like there's that level to it as well.
Yeah.
But that's where it's like listening comes in, I think. Just like getting the song structures right and all that stuff. So it just worked super hard to just like, let's make sure we put on a good show.
Yeah.
And so, I think we really impressed all the radio people that day. So fast forward like a year, Heather calls me and she's like, do you want to open for Dean Lewis and Jason Mraz? And I was like, yes. And she's like, yeah, we're doing Spring Fling. It's like a concert that they do in Vegas.
And these are also original shows.
Original shows.
These aren't cover shows. These are original songs.
Yeah.
So that's why it's a little different with opening up for these guys.
Yeah, definitely. So I was like, yes, I do.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, it's not quite, there yet. I'll let you know. I'm going to try to make this happen.
Yeah.
And I don't think she had a hard time because we had already done such a good job.
Right.
So it was just like, we should get this kid open. It's like, yeah, of course. And like, what's cool is I think coming into it, when you haven't done anything, people really want to help. Mm-hmm. Like if you've done the work and you're good and you're a good person, like that's a big one. Just like being chill, not being demanding, going with the flow, like all the stuff. But they really wanted to help. So I was like, it's always a good cause and stuff like that.
And you put it out there too, which is what you have to do is like, you have to talk to people about your dreams and your goals. And you have to put it out there and you have to be like, this is what I'm trying to do. Exactly. And people will help.
If they can.
If you put it out there, people will help.
Yeah.
If they see that you're going for it.
Yeah. And then being just a good person, like that's a big one. It's like,
just being cool with everyone.
People get like an ego about them and it's just like, don't do that. Like, just be cool. Like, be humble, like take what you can get and be really grateful. I think is a big one. So yeah, they wanted to throw us on and I was like, cool. And then I remember getting the FaceTime from Heather, like driving my car. I was like, oh shit.
She's like, you're gonna open up.
She's like, you're opening up for Jason Mraz. And I was like, yo.
That's
so
crazy.
I knew, you know, before everybody, and so like keeping that a secret for a minute was weird.
Yeah.
And then like I had to rush to get headshots done so they could put me on the poster.
Oh yeah. Lots of stuff you don't think about.
Yeah.
That you had to prepare.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so like I had to do like a video that was like me, Jason, and Dean all had to do these videos of like, you're listening to Mix 94.1, like come to the Spring Fling, and like they used we all had the same script, so they would go like his word, my word, like
that's
like,
sick.
It was a cool video. And then I just remember like them announcing the show, like it's like the morning show on Mix, and like just turning it on, and they played Jason Mraz music. They're like, Jason Mraz, Dean Lewis, and local artist Michael Richter. And then they played like Fairy Tale a little bit, and I was like, whoa, yo, this is so sick. And like I just remember being like so stoked to like, 'cause at that point we're trying to get the band together, and I'm like, if there's any like reason why guys would want to play with me, it's like like this is real, like it's, you know, this is a possibility, like people want to help. And so I was like, I just remember being really stoked to be like, you know, this is good leverage. I get to like, get people who want to play with me. It's like like when I, you know, so was, you know, doing that was insane, and I immediately was overwhelmed with the opportunity of like going to play for 2,000-3,000 people. Yeah. So the venue is what was it called? The Theater at the Virgin. The Theater at the Virgin. So it's like it's huge. Yeah. Like massive stage. Which it was huge audience. It was the joint at the Hard Rock before that, and it's where I saw my first concert. So I saw Imagine Dragons there. And now you're playing there. Yeah, and like that night my dad was like, you know, would you learn anything like from going to the show? I was like, I know what I want to do when I grow up. Dang. And so to be playing the stage that I kind of had all this realization was just like this huge full circle moment of like, you get to do it. And so I told that story on stage. That's really cool. And people really loved it. It was like, how many years ago was that? When did you go to that show? I was in 2013. 2013, and then you played it in 2023 or something like that? So 10 years. Yeah. Exactly 10 years of intense work. Yeah. And you went full circle. There. And then it was cool. That's cool. Ended up emailing Imagine Dragons manager because like we had become a little close through just like me being a fan, and I was like, hey man, cool full circle moment. Like I saw Dragons play the joint, you know, in 2013, and I just got to play it, you know, and it was my dream and like all this stuff. And he's like, that made his day. He was super stoked for me. That's really cool. So, but yeah, that show was like insane. How was that? So you got to meet Jason Mraz. Yeah, so like you get there, like I did a steam room before. Yeah, totally prepared. I had originally like reached out to some of like my peers that I know have opened, like Sean has opened for everybody. Yeah. So I was like, how do I do this? Like, how does this go over well? Like, right. And so he was just like, immediately was like showing me stuff, and him and Ben were both like, you need to sing Bohemian Rhapsody. And I was like, okay. Like, I didn't know I could even do that. Yeah. You know, so I was like, cool. So I ended up learning this cover of Bohemian Rhapsody, figuring out, I can sing it. Great. And so I was like going to close with that. And so like that was nerve wracking. My parents didn't think I could even do it. Like I didn't perform it for anyone beforehand. Yeah. How long was your set? It was supposed to be 10 minutes, and I think I played 30. Oh, really? So you played a bunch of originals, and then Bohemian Rhapsody. So I was like, I was like, and I remember somebody like shouted out for one of my originals from the crowd. They were like, "Play Can't Lose." Oh, that's cool. And I like looked down at Heather, and I was like, "Do we got time?" And she's like, "Play it." So I just played Can't Lose, and then that's cool. Just I ended up doing like 5 songs, I want to say. Yeah. And then I did Bohemian Rhapsody, and there's like a little break at the end, like right before the last verse, in the arrangement I did, and like the whole crowd stood up, screaming, just like had a standing O. And I still had to finish part of the song, and I was just like, "Hey guys, like no standing O yet. I gotta finish it. Like, give me 1 second. Let me just wrap this up." And then I started singing, and then like everyone started laughing because I was like, it was just funny to go back into it. And then I finished it and just had this roaring applause, and it was just definitely one of the like highlights of my whole life. It's like, so I've definitely been chasing the dragon ever since of that.
Yeah, that was a cool show. I was up on the balcony watching it. It was cool to see you do that. And you sounded good too. It was like, it's got to be so crazy hearing your voice through the speakers.
Dude, it's just nuts. Like, soundtrack was crazy.
And you got to meet them.
Yeah, right? So that was cool. I was in my dressing room, and I just get a knock at the door, and I open it, and it's Jason Mraz.
Dude, that's far
He's
out.
Like, "Hey man, Jason." And then what was funny? So like 2 weeks before that, I was practicing. I did Bohemian Rhapsody at the Cosmo at Barbershop, which is a venue we play at now. And I met Gavin DeGraw in the crowd.
Oh, nice.
And was just kind of BSing with him about, like, I was about to open for Jason Mraz. He was like, "Tell Jason I said hi." So I immediately had, like, this icebreaker with Jason Mraz to be like, I just met Gavin DeGraw, like, 2 weeks ago. He said hi.
That's pretty cool, yeah.
I was like, yes.
That's cool. Was he really nice?
Super, super, super nice. And he just popped his head in and said hi and, like, said thanks for opening, and he went into his dressing room.
That's super cool for like the headliner to do that.
Oh yeah,
like that's pretty cool.
Dude, he was a class act, like through and through.
Yeah.
And then Dean Lewis came in and met us, and he was super cool. And I happened to, because he's Australian, I happened to have like this like Australian meme like shirt on, like wearing it.
Oh yeah.
They have like they have a thing called like magpies in Australia, like the birds, and they like peck at you. And so I have this shirt that says "There will be blood," or "I want to see blood," and they call them Swoopy Boys. So I had this like shirt, and he was like "Swoopy Boys."
Oh, nice.
So it was like a whole thing too.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah, so he was cool, and then ended up like getting to talk to Jason a little bit more. Did my show. It's cool. Like you go to like an elevator. And like, there's a security guy in the elevator taking you down to like the stage, and you're just like, here we go. Like he takes you down, and then you're backstage, and then like they just announce your name, and then it's like go time. The weird one. So I go to start the show. They didn't turn my mic on. It was off, like a wireless microphone, just off, and I'm like, nothing. And so luckily they had these huge, screens on the left or right of me. So I was just like, I just ended up pointing at them because I was like waiting for them to turn the mic on. They still didn't do it, and I finally figured it out. I was like,
that's funny.
And then I was like, my first words for the show were like, I guess I got to turn this thing on.
That's classic.
But yeah, and so yeah, that was just like a huge moment for me of like, you're on the right path. It's like.
Yeah.
To get 2,000 people up standing, screaming your name.
Yeah.
We ended up selling 3 or 4 less T-shirts than Jason Mraz that night or something like that.
Dang. Like, sold a bunch of merch.
Yeah, insane.
Wow. What a night, dude. Yeah. I mean, you killed it too.
Yeah.
Like you guys nailed the songs, nailed Bohemian Rhapsody. It was sick.
Dude, yeah, there was magic in the air for sure.
Yeah.
So.
Dang, dude. That's cool. And also, too, that with these, like, big shows and even with getting your songs on the radio and stuff, you've been on the news a couple times.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How was that experience? Like, they have you go on there for what?
So, I've done
like...
I did, the first one I did, I think, was for Can't Lose. I'd met the anchor at the Tap.
See?
At the
who knows who's in the audience?
At the open mic, and so she was a fan immediately.
Whoa!
And so when I, put it out there, she was like, "Oh, come do my show!" Like,
Yeah.
You know, it's just like a morning 10 a.m. news slot. Let you play a song, do a little interview.
Yeah.
And so
but it's on the news.
Mm-hmm.
It's like on TV. Like, so you were releasing a song, and then she saw you at the open mic, asked you on the TV station, the news station.
And I got to go like the day the song came out. So it was like,
that's cool.
You know, got to provide them with all this promo material and
yeah. So
and
just
like,
great exposure.
What I noticed is like people don't really watch the news or pay attention, but when you post news clips on Instagram, people think you're a big deal.
right. Totally, yeah.
It's like that's like insider trading right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like once you post like, oh, I was on the news, it's like, oh wow, he was on the news.
Right.
Like kind of same with the radio too. Like you post you were on the radio, people were like, that's cool. But like, did they listen? No. But and then luckily my friend Destiny knew this news anchor that was a little more like she kind of did West Coast kind of more stations than just a local thing.
Oh, okay.
And so the story, like my mom was killed in high school, and so I was like, that was the story they told, and like me doing music for her and stuff like that. So I got this big news story that went to like San Diego, here, and I think like Northern California too. It aired, but she ended up coming to my house and doing a big interview and all that kind of stuff. And that was a big one.
Yeah, and you've done it and for Valentine as well.
Yeah.
For another song, you were on
and
the
then
radio.
We played Pauly Shore's podcast.
Oh yeah.
And I got on the news for that too.
How did that come about?
So we did a Life is Beautiful Battle of the Bands.
That's right. At the Space.
At the Space.
Yeah.
I say we came in second. I don't know. But I say we came in second. But the girl that booked that ended up calling me and was like, do you want to do this Jam in the Van Pauly Shore podcast? I was like,
yeah.
My rule, yes.
Yes.
And I knew of Pauly Shore, you know, my dad's pianist, keyboard player, plays in Pauly Shore's band, like the Crusties or whatever they're called.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, yeah, let's do it. And then, like, I get called from Pauly the morning of the gig, and he's like,
"That's crazy,
Mike." We were supposed to do like an original song at the end and like just be highlighted. He's like, I need you to be my Tonight Show band, Mike. And I was like, I don't know how to do that. Like, so I'm like kind of freaking out. Like, so like we have to play during the show when he cues us, and like we don't even have music prepared. Like,
crazy.
Nothing.
For anyone who doesn't know who Pauly Shore is, he's just like a comedian, actor. Yeah. He's been in a bunch of movies.
He was in the Goofy movie. He was like the Leaning Tower of Jesus.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so it's like we just had to just spur the moment, be this guy's Tonight Show band, and then he called me again and was like, "Hey, the other artist isn't able to, do this for me. I need you to play both shows. Don't say no. Don't say no." I was like, "All right, dude, I won't say no. Let's do it." And then he had Gabriel Iglesias on his podcast, so like, super big comedian.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden we're just like at a dispensary in Vegas, and like Gabe Iglesias, my grandma was like sitting on the couch with a sex doll. Like it was like, you can't make this stuff up.
Yeah.
What the heck? Oh, we're having flash flood.
Weather signal?
Yeah. Anyway. But yeah, I'm kind of getting sidetracked here. But
yeah, so you got to do his podcast, or is it a podcast?
Yeah, it's a podcast, but we didn't get an interview.
You were just the backing band.
And it seemed like this was the first time he had a band at all. So it just kind of, we did 2 episodes, and I think only 1 came out.
Oh, really?
Because it just went so poorly.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Like,
just
comically,
unprepared.
like the second episode, someone tripped over a power cable.
Yeah.
1 power cable, and unplugged the whole set.
Oh my god, that's a classic.
Dude, it was like,
That's like Three Stooges, like classic. Like, the whole city shuts down from one plug.
Yeah, I was like, shout out to the Jam in the Van dudes for just making something happen. Like being able to just fix it immediately. But
yeah, that's pretty cool though. That's the Jam in the Van is pretty.
And I actually
pretty cool.
I had actually played a Jam in the Van that they were not releasing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so after doing all these favors for Pauly, they released my Jam in the Van that week.
Oh, nice.
I was like, because they wanted us to pay. I don't know how it worked, but I was just like, what? They're like, anything we can do. I was like, post my stuff. Like, I recorded this like 2 years ago. Like, release the tapes, bro.
Yeah.
And so they did, but
release the Michael Richter files.
Yeah, dude.
So, what's the craziest thing that's happened at a gig? Have you had any crazy like gig stories or anything like that?
Probably this Pauly Shore gig.
Really?
Dude, he brought out like little people, wrestlers.
Yeah.
Like they're called micro, like I forget what it's called, but they were doing like professional wrestling, like micro, like small people doing wrestling.
Yeah.
And we're just playing original music behind it.
Whoa.
And they're just like going,
and they were just wrestling.
They're just wrestling like.
And that was the show? Like, so
that was a segment of the podcast. Yeah, like he brought these.
Jeez.
And they brought Mini Kiss out there too.
I've seen that.
Yeah, I was like.
I've seen that.
Just like the most off the wall, just like I felt I was in a fever dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has there been any gigs where like you totally like forgot something or?
Oh, I forget something like every gig, dude.
Or like, someone like, I don't know, throws you off or something, or like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, we've been doing like these like, 2.5 hour sets just straight, and like that's a lot to just like be on every single song for. So like, constantly forgetting lyrics and stuff like that, and it's just like
that's a lot of lyrics.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, you just got to take it with grace.
Yeah.
Just like either let the chord progression come around again or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, for anyone who's watching, so I play lead guitar for his band. We started playing at a place called Barbershop in the Cosmopolitan, and it's basically just 2.5 hours straight. There's no breaks.
No breaks.
So it's just full on music. So you got to remember all the lyrics. There's just a lot of stuff to remember. Mm-hmm. And this is like, what do you think you've learned from playing at the Barbershop? Because it's like the music is the focus.
Yeah.
When you go into this venue, it's kind of like a lounge, but then the music, it has a big stage.
Yeah, it's
nice
definitely
lights.
like a concert venue. Like it's not just like a gig. Like you're not just like it's not like a typical lounge gig.
Yeah.
It's like you feel like when you walk into this room, it's like I'm going to see a legit band. Like it's very.
The sound is amazing. The light show is amazing, and we've done a bunch of shows there now. What do you think you've learned from playing there?
I'd say keeping like momentum is a huge deal with an audience. I don't think I've completely learned this yet, but it's like how to make a show good, like with energy and
keeping them interested,
and maintaining like fast song, hit. Like how do you navigate those waters of like when does the audience need a break? Kind
of like the dynamic of the whole set.
The whole like if you're gonna just do an energy line of like up down, like
right.
And like some songs don't engage the crowd and some do, and like being honest with yourself of like, even though I like the song,
right,
does the audience typically like it? Like,
right.
That's like a big one.
Kind of reading the crowd.
Because it's all about the audience. Like at the end of the day, like playing any gig, like they're your boss, they're your people. Like you owe it all to them. Yeah. And yeah, it's just they're like your little baby. You gotta like, how do I take care of them?
Yeah, and in this venue too, we have to, a lot of the times we'll have to go out into the audience and play our instrument, or you go out there and sing, or we both, sometimes there's like a couch that's out in the middle, and sometimes we both go stand on the couch, or we'll stand on tables, or you stand on, you know,
whatever.
The bar. The first show that we did, it was, you were standing on the bar.
On the bar.
Walk down the bar, which was super cool. Yeah, like that, was that hard to get used to?
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden it's like you're going from playing just like normal gigs, and then all of a sudden you have a stage and lights and good sound.
Well, and like,
and
I hadn't even been gigging that much. Like, going into, you know, getting this opportunity to play there, like I hadn't had gigs. Like, I'm gigging more now than I ever have in my whole life. Like this past 2 months, just like finally starting to make money comparable to my day job, like, which is awesome. Yeah. But you know, it was like going from 0 to 100 real quick was really what it was for me. It's like, 'cause the way we got in there was a Battle of the Bands opportunity.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
So like, I learned a 30-minute set in a week, and then we tied, and they wanted us to come back, and so then I had to learn another 30-minute set in a week. Yeah.
So 8 new songs.
8 new songs in a week.
Yeah.
And you know, for these 2.5-hour gigs, it's like 50 songs. Like, so going from, you know, just like being really overwhelmed with like learning it. And that's why I think our first show wasn't as good, because it's like, I'm so overwhelmed with like, we learned like 8 new songs or whatever it was. And it's like, how do I perform them good when I'm trying to remember everything? Right. So that was like, just like learning all those was the biggest challenge for me. Like, and then we do a lot of mashups and like trying to make cool mashups happen. And
yeah, that's like the one thing that I always try and say is like, sometimes you don't have time to prepare, so you're forced to just do it all. When you do have time to prepare, it's like the less that you have to think about on stage, the better.
Yeah, you just want it to be second nature.
Yeah, like you don't want to be thinking about the chords, the lyrics. You want to be focused on the crowd interaction and doing that whole
channeling
thing.
The emotion of the song is like the big one. It's like, what is this vibe like? You know, how do I just become the guy that wrote the song with that energy? Like, maybe not try to sound like him, but bring that energy that people recognize. Yeah. And I think that's like what really brings a good show, is like just giving that, like channeling each vibe as hard as you can. Not just like playing it like you didn't write it. Like, play everything like you wrote it.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, it's been cool. And you from like, I've been gigging for 10 years. Yeah. I've played a lot of gigs, but like, you literally went from playing like a few gigs to like literally having to learn all this stuff, and you got thrown in a lion's cage.
Yeah, in like 6 months.
But which I think is so cool to point out, because you just kept saying yes. Yeah. You just kept putting in the work and kept doing it, and look where you are now. Yeah. Like, it totally got you to a whole nother level. And
it's like, a lot of it for me was accepting the Vegas culture of gigging. I was like, just, you know, on my own path, doing my original stuff. Like, basically not knowing a ton of covers, got to do an incredible amount of things, like just with my own music. Right. So it's like me buying in. It's like, but also like, I was worried about getting stuck in the cover scene and not having time to work on originals. And that's like the new challenge for me, is like, now that I'm gigging, sometimes, you know, 10 shows a month or whatever, it's like, you don't necessarily want to go home and write a song after 2 hours. So it's like,
when you got to rest your voice a little bit.
Yeah, like, when do you find time to like be creative? But at the end of the day, like, I was worried about losing my voice and stuff like that. But the consistency of singing, you know, 2 hours, 3 nights a week, is making my voice better. Like, it really is. But it's a push and pull of like keeping that consistency, but not overusing it. Right.
It's an interesting balance, because like the cover songs helping you sing better. So then it's going to affect your writing,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But then it's also you're using your voice more, and you might not want to write as much or something like that, you know. But then you're also making money as well,
which great.
You can spend on your original stuff,
Mm-hmm.
your original project, you know, recording fees and releasing.
That's actually something I wanted to talk about too. Is you know, just how we got in with Rob and stuff.
Oh yeah,
to record.
Yeah,
because it was really tough to find the right situation.
Mm-hmm.
And then we met this guy, Rob Katz, who's a producer, recording engineer. He worked at the Palms for 10 years. They had a big recording studio, and he's like worked with everybody. But like basically kind of auditioned with him, my original music, and he was like immediately on. And so like I had saved up some money, and then we like made our first EP with Rob.
Mm-hmm.
And just like tirelessly working on that stuff was crazy that like time. We were getting ready for Battle of the Bands,
right?
Recording an EP.
I forgot about that. Yeah,
it was just like
a lot going on.
All
at once.
Yeah, because we were like, if we're gonna play Live Is Beautiful, we need music out. Like, so it's like,
yeah,
let's get this done. And that was like how we made our first EP. And because of that, you know, Battle of the Bands show, we ended up getting that a show at the space where we got to make all the money from the ticket sales.
Mm-hmm.
So that was cool. And then that paid for our next single.
Yeah.
And then now I've like put so much time in helping Rob around his studio that we're just gonna make an album, and like, so that's gonna be really cool.
Yeah, and so it kind of, exactly. Like the shows it's almost like it funds the original thing.
Yeah.
In a way.
So which is cool. But it's just a new thing, learning how to balance all of it.
Yeah, 100%. But that's cool. I mean, it's all going.
Mm-hmm. No,
We're all doing
it's happening. It feels good. You know, it feels good.
Yeah,
it really does. Like I'm just proud of where I've come from, and like
that's a crazy story, man. All the way from open mic to here.
Yeah, to here is insane. And like, you know,
it's cool.
We're not like this. You know, I'm not huge or anything like that.
Right.
But you know.
But you should be proud of yourself.
Yeah, I'm super proud of it. I think that I like. There's like a Mac Miller quote that I really like, and he talked about like people quitting because they have so far to go, but they never realize how far they've come. And like that's the big one.
Yeah.
Like, don't quit because of how far you have to go. Like look at your progress. Like
if
you're not making progress, maybe you should quit. But like how long have you been trying this? But like I'm sure if you're working hard, you're gonna be making progress. Like that's just how it works.
Yeah.
Like just, you know, I do music because I have to. There just doesn't seem like there's another option. So it's like I'm not upset to have to go to rehearsals or like do things. It just all is awesome. Like it's a blessing to get to do it all, I think. Even though it can get hard sometimes.
Yeah. 100%.
It's better than like being an accountant.
Right.
You know?
Right. Okay, so let's do a little fire round.
All right, let's do it.
So you just got to choose one.
All right.
Fender or Gibson?
Gibson.
Beer or shots?
Oh. Shots.
Nice. Biggie or Tupac?
Whoa. Biggie.
Nice. Clean tone or dirty tone?
Dirty tone.
Cereal first or milk first?
Cereal.
Yep. That was
the other one are psychopaths. Who puts milk in first, bro?
Night owl or early riser?
Night owl.
Solo set or full band?
Full band.
Cat or dog?
Dog.
Lyrics or melody?
Ooh. I'm going to go lyrics.
Nice. Prince or Michael Jackson?
Michael Jackson.
Does a straw have one hole or two?
One.
Nice. Improvised solo or written part?
Ooh. I'm going to go improvised solo. Yeah.
Yeah, you've been nailing those lately. Coke or Pepsi?
Coke. Pepsi's never okay with me. They're like, if we have Pepsi, I'm like, no. Give me something else.
For vocals, no monitor or no reverb?
No monitor.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. The Beatles or the Stones?
Beatles.
Nice. And this is just a random question. What is one song you wish you wrote?
A song I wish I wrote? Oh. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of just like out of the songs we do, which one?
Yeah, it could be any.
Dude, probably Say It Ain't So by Weezer.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a good tune. That is good.
Because sometimes it feels like I did write it. I've been performing it since I was in high school.
Yeah.
Just like, that's my go-to. So it's like, at this point, it's as much a part of me as it is a part of like culture already. So it's just
feels like your song.
Well, like even my own songs end up feeling like covers later on, like because you perform them so much, they don't feel like
you're like, oh, I wrote this.
Yeah, like I'm not writing it every day. Like I wrote it a long time ago, you know. So it's like,
cool, man. Well, where can people find you?
They can find me at Michael D. Richter on Instagram. And
Richter, like the Richter scale,
Richter
right?
scale, Richter. And I'm working on getting my website up, which is just michaelrichter.co.
Cool.
But yeah, just Michael Richter anywhere. You can find me somewhere.
Cool. Right on, man. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Walk for miles and miles and miles.